Up, guys? Mike D here checking in. I wanted to go ahead and do a review on J.I.D's God Does Like Ugly album. Now, I wanted to take my time on the review because it's a very dense album, man. J.I.D is a very dense lyricist where he gives you a lot of words. He gives you a lot to go on and a lot of song structure and everything to go on as well. It's very, very talented, very versatile. And I didn't want to have like a knee jerk reaction to the album and, rate things too high, rate things too low. I wanted to really sit on the music, let the music marinate as it should. But, again, we want to get this out as accurately as possible. And for the people who don't know how these reviews go down, we get right into it. Basically, I'm going to rate the songs on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 10 being the perfect score here. And this album has a lot of great things going on with it. Before I get into the album itself, I want to talk about J.I.D and where he is currently. J.I.D's The Forever Story, the album before this, was highly acclaimed and highly slept on. In my personal opinion. And he even mentioned that on the intro, talking about how he did have one song that went viral and became a TikTok challenge that got people to catch on to the album literally a year later. Um, he is a really dope songwriter, but he's a bar guy. He's a guy who comes with patterns, he's a guy who comes with flow, and he comes with subject matter as well. Very interesting lyricist in this climate. And he speaks on all of those things, but this is the album where he really got a lot of support from the industry, I believe, that he hasn't gotten in the past. Now, by the time I'm doing this video, he has had his biggest opening week ever. So congratulations to JID on that. Offset has said that he is the best lyricist in Atlanta right now, he being JID. And I can agree with that. I think lyrically, when we're talking about active MCs, we got him and Killer Mike who are actively, focusing on their bar work and some of the things that JID is able to do lyrically, flow wise, and pattern wise, and rhyme wise is spellbounding. And he should get more credit for what he's doing. And it's always about bringing it to the album. And here we are. God Does Like Ugly. So, album starts off with You Ugly, and it has West Side Gun, doing the ad libs and hyping the whole thing up. West Side Gun's becoming a bit of I don't want to say a hype man or whatever, but a DJ Clue of sorts. Because, people know what West Side brings to the table. And when his voice is over a track, it means something. It means some level of seriousness. Now, this intro covers a lot. It covers, JID's thought process going into this album, has a beat change, which I think the beat change makes it better. I think that it's a very intense intro. I think that it's the perfect intro for an album like this. And I gave You Ugly, I was on the fence with this, but I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9. I couldn't say it was totally perfect, but it was close to it. It was very close to a 10. I gave You Ugly a 9. The Glory, not The Glory, Glory. I think this is one of those instances where everything clicks. The production clicks. This is something I could see him doing at festivals. The lyricism clicks. The subject matter clicks. And he is all in on this. I think this is one of the strongest, if not, it's one of the stronger songs on the album. This wasn't my replay pick. I got another song as the replay pick. But I gave this song a 10. I think Glory shows you everything that this artist can do when all things are clicking and all cylinders are clicking on all levels. So Glory is a 10 for me. The songs that fall short, I'm just gonna say this ahead of time. He's spitting on everything on here. So if something falls short, it's more of a song. I don't even say song structure, but more so a production choice and more so a fit or lack thereof or a hook or a weak hook or something like that. His bar work is pretty exceptional in my opinion. It saves a few of these songs, and Work is one of those. I gave Work a 7, but I felt like his bar work saved that song. I wasn't a big fan of how it was put together, the production of it and all that, but again, his approach lyrically and all of that always changes, or it seems to change how you feel about a track where it's like If it was another person rhyming, you might skip the track, but you want to hear what he has to say and what he's coming up with and his patterns. But I gave that record a 7. Community featuring clips, featuring Malice and Pusha T. Now, off top, I gave this one a 9. I'm not gonna hold. I'm gonna hold the suspense. I gave that song a 9. Community, but to me, Community really shows, and this could have easily been a 10. It shows where some of his less stronger points are. And to me, and I was talking to my boy Ron Vay about this, and Ron Vay thinks he has a great rap voice, and I think that he has an okay rap voice. And it shows on songs like this when you're on a song with a Pusha T and a Malice who do have really dope rap voices, and they're able to take on a track like this where it sounds like they're not even trying hard, but they fit seamlessly. Now, with J.I.D, it sounds like he was really trying hard to fit into what they do sonically and a production choice that fit them seamlessly. And he was trying to fit into that and didn't sound as natural doing it as they did. Now, again, I know I'm nitpicking, but when we're breaking these things down, you got to nitpick. Now, this was one thing that I think would have made Community possibly a 10. I think that they should have had Pusha T start that song off, had J.I.D in the middle, and had Malice close it out. We know how strong Pusha T is opening up a song, and we know how strong Malice is closing a song. And when you have a feature in a duo in the past, it always to me, when you have such a strong duo like Eclipse or like an Outcast, where both of these guys are rhyming on such a high level, it always makes the song better if you break these guys up and you get in the middle. Let's think Skew It on the Barbie with Raekwon. Having Dre started out, Raekwon in the middle, and Big Boy closing it out, I think makes all the difference. That song's totally different. I know it's an Outkast song, and this is J.I.D's song, so he wants to set off his own song. But again, let's just think about structurally and think about the style and the MCs. Skew It on the Barbie is a whole different song, and I think a weaker song with same verses and Raekwon's verse starting it off, in my personal opinion. So I do think Community, from a structural standpoint, would have been better and possibly a 10 if Pusha would have started it off, J.I.D in the middle, and Malice ending it off. But very, very dope song. Very dope song. G's. Didn't love that hook, didn't love the production or anything on that as well. Again, he's spitting. It's J.I.D. It is what it is. I gave that one a 7. Gave that one a 7. VCRs featuring my homie, Vince Staples. Love Vince Staples. And I think both of them did their thing on this record. My only critique on this song itself, because I think that if we're talking about the bar work and the rapping that they did, there's really no critique there. But I do think the song dragged out. Production choice wasn't all the way there. I think that things could have been broken up a little bit. I gave the song an 8 because, as dope as the MCing was on there, it wasn't as entertaining as I think that it could have been with both of these guys on the track. And again, most of that is production, I think, and just thinking out the songs in that way. Skate. Man, listen, I was conflicted on this one because again, I'm from Atlanta. I get it. I grew up on the Kilo, Raheem the Dream, DJ Smurf. Y'all know him as Mr. College Park, all of that. So I loved what they were attempting to do and what they executed on, because I do think this is a single. At first, I gave it a 9 because I think that, with J.I.D and Earth Gang coming together, and these guys go way back, and these guys are very talented MCs. For them to choose to do something like this, which would be a bass song that's really not known for rhymes like that, initially I gave them a 9 just off of degree of difficulty and creativity. But I had to be fair and give it an 8, and I wanted to take my individual bias for bass music out because I think the execution of it on their end was dope. I think the beat could have been better. And I think the hook could have been a lot better. I mean, I love them having Sierra on it, but I think when you're doing the bass stuff, the hooks are so important. And that's what makes those songs so memorable is a strong hook. And think about any Kilo Ali song. Think about any big Raheem the Dream song. The So Death Bass All Star stuff. Like you have to have a strong hook. I love the fact that they were spitting and they had bars on there and they were, paying homage to Kilo and everything on there. But the biggest part of the recipe on a bass record or a skate record or whatever you want to call it in this sense is to have a strong hook and a strong beat. And I think that the beat and the hook weren't as strong as they could have been. This could have easily been a 10. I think it's still going to be a strong single, but I gave it an 8. Uh, and I hate to do that because, and like I said, I you could see on my paper I had 9 here, but I had to say, you know what? Take Mike from Atlanta out of it, and let's be fair. Okay, what we on? I gave what we on an 8. I gave what we on an 8. I thought it was okay. Again, spit. I didn't think it was memorable in that sense, and it coming after skate, it was like, I think this could have been cut, in my personal opinion. I know people in the comments probably gonna kill me for that, but I do think this is the record that could have been cut because the transition and what we're about to get into. Because I do think that the back half of the album is stronger um, from a depth standpoint. I think commercially, the front part could be stronger. But here we go. Wholeheartedly, in my personal opinion, I think this is the most complete song on the album. I love that J.I.D was showing off his vocal skills. He's a very underrated vocalist. J.I.D can sing a little bit, man. Very underrated in that respect. And shout out what was it, 8 Lack or whatnot, Black. I gave it a 10. I gave this one a 10. I think that this is the most complete song on the album. I think it should be a single. I think it would be a very successful single. It has all the elements of a great song, and they executed on this song perfectly. Production and everything is in pocket. Everything fits. Everything is on point on this record. No Boo. I thought No Boo was incredible. I gave this record a 9. Another one that I think could be a single. J.I.D once again showing off his melodic skill set. And was it Perez who was featured on there? And they even going in Spanish on this, man. Like this is a record. Once again, I could see this one, I hear this one on the radio over and over and over again. And subject matter's there, and it's something for the ladies. He did his thing on this, man. Yeah, Jesse Jerez. Dope record, man. Dope feature. And I look, I see this song possibly doing some things as well. So No Boo got a 9 for me. Very, very strong song. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Here is my replay pick on McAfee, man. Whew. When Offset says that J.I.D is the best lyricist in Atlanta, and for anybody who's not familiar with J.I.D's material, and you have a song that you want to play to make that point, play this record. On McAfee featuring Baby Kia, man. Yo, they are going in on this record. And I think that from a production standpoint, this fits right into what J.I.D does best. He does a lot of things. And I think that this album and even the Forever Story shows that J.I.D does a lot of things. And he does a lot of things really well. And sometimes when you do a lot of things really well, you get overlooked for the thing that you do the best. This right here is his chamber, in my personal opinion. On McAfee is my replay song. I gave this one a 10 if I haven't said that yet. On McAfee gets a 10 for me. I think Wholeheartedly is the best song on the album, but I do think On McAfee, is the best rap performance from him in my replay pick. So that's a 10. Of Blue, I gave this one a 9, man. Very dope record, man. It's like he's coming with it. I think his rap chamber increases as this album goes, or maybe it's the production that changes up a little bit on the second half, which makes you appreciate even more what he's doing on the mic. So Of Blue, that one got a 9 for me. K Word. Who? K Word kind of started off shaky for me, and sonically I wasn't loving where it was going. But where he was taking it, subject matter wise and lyrically, it made me give this one an 8. I just couldn't go 9 because I don't think it's as good of a song as Nobu or as good of a song as Of Blue. But the way he's rapping made me put it at a level where it has to be an 8. This is not a 7. This is not a 6. Um, Even though I think that it's not one of my favorite records on the album, I don't think that it should be cut. I mean, I think that it's necessary on the album, and all the things that he did on there and all the things he said on there needed to be on this album. So I gave that one an 8. And for Keeps, the closer, very dope closer. I was very close to giving this one a 10. I just didn't think that it reached that level of the ones that I gave a 10 on this album. So I gave it a 9. But records like this are very important. It's the perfect closer. I don't think there's any other album that would have been better as the closer on this album. It tells his whole story. It talks about being underrated. It talks about the feeling of going into these open mics when the scene is totally different from what you do, and sticking to what you do and until it works, and finding your audience, finding your lane, your people, and understanding what you do great. And he articulated it perfectly. I love the production choice on it. I think it's the perfect closer, like I said. And yeah, he did his thing on this song and on this album, and it's the perfect close to this album. He talks about how far he's come, and you get the feeling that this album is kind of the beginning of, opening new eyes to this artist, which is great. And you always want to see that happen. And you always love to see that turning point in someone's career. And I'm sure this album is going to be that. And I don't think that this album is better than the Forever Story, in my personal opinion, but I do think that this album is the perfect album for the moment and for this moment in his career. Is it an album of the year contender? For sure it is. I think it is. What he has going for him is the fact that some of these songs on this album have the potential to be really big. And we don't know how far these songs are going to go at this point in this early stage in the album's release. But I do have faith that there is, let me look at here. I got 3 and a possible songs on here that could really be big. And my first pick on that is going to be Wholeheartedly. And I also believe Nobu could actually be big. I think Glory could actually be big as well. My possible on that might be Skate. And I think from a core standpoint, Community can make some noise as well. But yeah, I think that he has the potential to get some really big songs out of this album, which would carry this album even further and farther. He just announced his world tour. So yes, man, this is in the album of the year conversation. Definitely top 5 album to come out this year. Excuse me, possibly top 3. But let me go back over this again before I get out of here. You Ugly, I gave it a 9. Glory, gave it a 10. Work, I gave it a 7. Community, I gave it a 9. G's, I gave it a 7. VCRs, 8. Skate, 8. What We On, 8. Wholeheartedly, 10. Nobu, 9. On McAfee, 10. It's the replay record. Of Blue, 9. K Word, 8. For Keeps, 9. Shout out to J.I.D for this. And I think that becomes an overall score. Actually, I added this up. Overall score, 8.6. So this album has songs that are averaging around 8.6, which is really good. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to J.I.D for God Does Like Ugly. Dope album in the album of the year conversation. What do you guys think in the comment section? What songs do you think that I rated too high? What songs do you think I rated too low? hit like and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys tuning in and look forward to some more reviews. We got some more albums coming up. Supreme Clientele's dropping as well. So, all right, talk to you soon. Yep.